Well, hello everyone, this is CJ from Cycletron. I thought it might be interesting to identify some of the key things happening with Harley Davidson from a financial standpoint to try and get a handle on what their second quarter 2023 results might be when they're reported at the end of this month. As always with Harley Davidson, we have the short-term moves that have an immediate effect on their stock price and the long-term fundamentals, which will influence how the stock may perform 12 months out and beyond. Things that are happening that we'll want to focus on is the York plant production suspension, the increasing amount of new bike inventory building up at dealerships, the effect of higher interest rates and having new bike purchases possible, and the increasing rate of loan defaults by people financing their Harley Davidson motorcycle purchases. Now, if you look at Harley Davidson's market share for the 601cc plus segment, you'll see that it's been going down quarter by quarter and year to year. As of the first quarter of this year, Harley's market share was down to 39%. It was well over 50% not that long ago. I doubt very much if this downward trend has changed in the recent months. So let's start with some of the latest news. We know that just like in the second quarter of last year, Harley Davidson has suspended the bulk of their motorcycle production at their York, Pennsylvania assembly plant. That production shutdown last year affected production for all the bikes except for the Livewire models and lasted about 3 weeks and was apparently due to a problem with a brake line made by a supplier. So for the latest production slowdown, and I'll call it a slowdown as it apparently affects all bikes except the Livewire and CVO models, was announced June 12th with normal production scheduled to resume June 26th. Apparently the problem was with another brake line issue from a supplier, but Harley has been pretty quiet on the details so far. As of the date of recording of this video on July 3rd, 2023, full production has not resumed at the York plant. In July of 2022, when Harley announced their second quarter earnings, they indicated that the May 2022 plant shutdown resulted in 15% reduction in motorcycle shipments for about 9,000 fewer bikes over the previous year's quarter. Now we know at the end of the first quarter in March this year, Harley Davidson inventory ballooned to 45,000 motorcycles. Also, if you've been to your local Harley Davidson dealer lately, you'll notice the showroom seems to be jammed with new unsold motorcycles. I'd be curious if you've noticed a lot more unsold bikes at your Harley Davidson dealer than in the past, so let me know in the comments. In recent years, Harley Davidson has sold around 180,000 motorcycles each year. When Harley had their plant shut down in 2022, which affected second quarter production numbers, they significantly ramped up production in the third quarter of 2022 to make up for the shortfall. At the end of 2022, Harley Davidson had a total motorcycle inventory of 36,000 motorcycles. So for now, the question is, when will normal motorcycle production resume, and when it does, will Harley turn up production to try and make up the shortfall from second quarter of this year? My speculation is that whatever the reason for the current plant shutdown, it's probably been preferable to having more and more unsold bikes stack up at dealerships. Keep in mind, Harley jammed their dealers in the first quarter of this year with a much higher level of bike shipments than in the past to make the short-term financial figures look better. With that in mind, I think it will be unlikely that Harley Davidson will have an increase in production of over 10,000 motorcycles like they did in the third quarter of last year, so they can draw down dealer inventory from the current levels. This also means that this plant shutdown may last a while longer and go well into the month of July. Under this scenario, it would appear that Harley Davidson could be looking at rather poor financial performance during the rest of 2023. Let's take a look at what analysts forecast for Harley Davidson stock. From this Seeking Alpha article, we see that 4 analysts rate the stock as a strong buy, 3 as a buy, and 8 as a hold. So far, nobody's rating the stock as a strong sell or sell. The overall consensus then is a moderate buy. Now let's look at the trend in earnings per share predictions. We see that the trends for estimated earnings is going down month to month, and that's not a good sign. I would also expect that Harley sales will continue its downward trend given the impacts of higher interest rates for financing new motorcycle purchases. In 2022, Harley did all right in the second quarter, even with their production stoppage, because they were able to push through a lot of price increases. Given the high level of current interest rates at this time, combined with high dealer inventories, it seems unlikely to me that Harley can resort to another big price increase to make up for loss of production. Next, let's take a look at how Harley Davidson stock has performed recently. The stock has traded in a relatively narrow band between $33 to $40 during the last 2 years, and year to date, the stock is down nearly 12%. When it comes to current financial performance, there is likely to be continued losses from the Livewire as they've had difficulty ramping up production this year. Right now they're saying production will start in earnest in about third quarter of this year, which is pretty late in the year to be ramping up production for most places having seasonal riding periods. So I'm presenting this information for you to make up your own judgment about the potential performance of Harley Davidson and in turn on the potential performance of their stock. If you put this all together, I think we won't see direct discounting of new Harley Davidson motorcycle prices just yet. However, we are likely to see Harley Davidson make an indirect form of discounting by buying down the interest rates to help buyers get into a new bike. From what I'm hearing, interest rates on motorcycle loans are upwards of 12%. You can see that Harley Davidson is advertising loan rates that are in the 4 to 6% range. Offering these discounts on loan rates will no doubt put further pressure on Harley Davidson's profitability for the rest of 2023. If these loan incentives don't work to get people to buy more bikes, I think you might see dealers cut prices on new Harley Davidson motorcycles by this fall. So we'll see on that one. On the positive side, Harley will no doubt benefit from its 120th anniversary celebrations and the buzz about the technological advances with their new CVO models. And these new models could be showing up in dealerships here later this July. So what do you think? Please be sure to let me know your thoughts on these topics by leaving a comment, and please consider becoming a subscriber if you haven't done so already. Thanks very much.